Tonight, one match will hold a nation's breath. 90 minutes. That's all that stands between England and a place in history. Across pubs, living rooms, and city squares, millions will fall silent at the same moment, waiting, hoping, praying. But somewhere behind closed doors, away from the cameras and the crowds, another family will be watching too. A family that knows exactly what this moment means, not just as fans, but as witnesses to a story that began 60 years ago and refuses to end. England versus Argentina, a World Cup semi-final, a phrase that has haunted and thrilled English hearts for 6 decades. Football's coming home. It was born in 1966, the last time England lifted that golden trophy. Since then, heartbreak, near misses, penalty shootouts that ended in tears. But tonight, that old wound feels different. Tonight, hope feels dangerous again, and among the millions who will be glued to their screens, there's one family whose connection to this game runs deeper than most people realize. His name is William, Prince of Wales, future king, but long before any of that mattered to him, he was just a boy who loved football. For years, he's worn the armband of patron for the Football Association, not as a formality, but as a genuine devotion. He stood pitchside at finals. He's shaken hands with heartbroken players after crushing defeats. He's worn the Three Lions crest like it was stitched into his own skin. But something changed when his children were born. Because now, football isn't just William's story anymore. It's a story he's handing down. Picture this: Euro 2024. The final whistle hasn't even blown yet, and instead of a polished royal photograph, the kind curated by palace photographers, the world gets something raw, something real. Two small children, backs turned to the camera, wearing England shirts far too big for their tiny shoulders. Princess Charlotte, Prince Louis, sitting shoulder to shoulder, eyes fixed on a screen, completely lost in the magic of the game. No crowns, no formality, just two kids who love their country's team. That photograph didn't just melt hearts, it reminded an entire nation that behind the palace walls, football feels exactly the same as it does in every other home in Britain. And then there's George, the future king, standing in stadium stands, not sitting on a throne. He's been photographed wincing during penalty kicks, cheering with clenched fists, burying his face in his hands during unbearable, nail-biting minutes. Football has become something sacred between a father and his son, a ritual passed down not through royal duty, but through pure, unfiltered love of the game. So tonight, as England steps onto the pitch against Argentina, the stakes aren't just about football, they're about legacy. Somewhere in a home lit only by the glow of a television screen, three children may be sitting exactly where Charlotte and Louis once sat, backs to the camera, eyes wide, hearts pounding, waiting, because this isn't just another match for the Wales family. It's a chance to relive 1966, a chance for George to witness what his great-great-grandmother's generation once celebrated, a moment frozen in black and white photographs, now potentially reborn in vivid color. Imagine the tension in that room. Every pass, every near miss, every roar from a crowd thousands of miles away, echoing through a television speaker into a quiet living room. William, watching not just as a royal patron, not just as a fan, but as a father, desperate for his children to feel what he felt as a boy, that electric, gut-wrenching, beautiful uncertainty of not knowing what happens next, because football does that. It turns strangers into family, and families into united hearts, beating in rhythm with 11 men wearing white shirts. And if England scores, if they find a way through, somewhere in that home, a celebration will erupt, small fists in the air, a father lifting his children onto his shoulders, a shared scream of joy that has nothing to do with royal protocol and everything to do with raw human emotion. Football has a strange kind of power. It doesn't care about titles or thrones. It doesn't ask if you're a prince or a pauper. It simply asks, do you believe? And tonight, an entire nation, princes included, will believe together. Whether the dream comes true or shatters in extra time, one thing will remain unchanged. A father taught his children to love this game, not because it was expected of them, not because of duty, but because some stories are simply too beautiful not to pass on. 60 years ago, a nation dreamed of a trophy. Tonight, in millions of homes, royal and ordinary alike, that same dream lives on. Because in the end, football doesn't just come home, it becomes home. One match, one nation, one dream, refusing to die.